On this video, we'll get some colour on the old marina. Righty, welcome back to NZ Hombre-Garage. So, we're back on the little yellow marina. The Falcon Ute is just being picked up and it's just gone on a trailer and disappeared. So anyway, so what we're doing at the moment, so basically the first plan of attack with this is I've just checked over this front brake. I'm going to whip the other wheel off. So the brakes on this are fine. The disc's a little scabby, but you know, with a bit of work, it's probably just been sitting. I just went over. It's actually a 2-piston caliper. It's got a piston each side, so there's no slides on it. The disc was grabbing a bit, so I've just given it a clean up. Just gave everything a good spray down with some brake cleaning, got rid of all the dirt and crap. It's probably from just sitting around. It's just got a bit tight, but now it actually spins free with me just giving it a clean up. And I just think it just needs probably a bit of a run, and hopefully these don't glaze up. Like I don't have any turning equipment. They're not very thick anyway. I think they'll be right. It's just when we get this a bit more sealed up, and I'll probably just go for a couple of drives in it once we sort of get it back together and just make sure everything is right. But I think they should be okay. I don't think anything's seized. So I'll just pull them all off. We'll have a good look. There'll be drums in the back. So I'll just give this other side a whip the other wheel off, and we'll check them and whatever and clean them up. And at some point I'll have to whip these wheels into town and get the tyres changed over. Get these new tyres organised for it. I haven't done that yet. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting all these little bits and pieces sorted. But the other thing I want to try and do today is I just want to get all this stuff sanded back and feathered out with a bit of 400 with to get ready for primer. Not primer, for paint. Maybe primer. So we're going to drag this out here now. When we get back to this boot lids, we'll get this bonnet cleaned down, and we'll get that stuff in there. Now they've got the ute out of the road. I've been kind of waiting to just get a vehicle out of the road. I'm hoping, and dearly hoping, that maybe I can get this fucking tractor out of the road and get this cleaned up and actually get this whole shed, because I know that other tractor's going to be away for a while. And this is actually somebody else's tractor. Oh, I was wondering, or maybe I can force a point and get it out of the road so I can seal that up and maybe turn it into a booth. I think what I'd do is just, I don't know quite how I'd do that. Just put some plastic on it with some boards to hold it down, and that side I'd seal to a description, to a degree, if you know what I mean. But again, just have plastic and then just got a heap of that white paneling shit that I'll just put on the walls. Or, you know, eventually put on the walls. But yeah, just be freaking nice to have that as a paint booth. So then, you know, something like this, I can just zip it in there with a couple of other bits and pieces. Like, it's got plenty of room in there. Like, it's well and truly wide enough. That's a tractor with, oh, it's not a big tractor, but it's a tractor with jewels, and there's plenty of room to walk around that. So, like, it's just as wide as this bay. So there's plenty of room in there to stick. You know, you can stick a car slightly one side as long as you can get down it, and a couple of panels and whatever, and spray in there. It would be nice if it was a wee bit deeper. You know, if it came out to here, you know, and had another weaving out to here, it'd be fucking awesome. But then it doesn't leave any room in front of it. It'd be nice, you know, if you had a car prepped here, you know, get everything wiped down, whatever, and then wheel it in, seal everything up, turn your lights on and whatever, and then, because I'd get a freaking heap more of those. I'd probably get 4 of those and put in there, and maybe a couple of lights down on the poles and flick them on, so I can paint and have something really good to paint, and you know, and keep the dust down, and then I wouldn't have to worry about fucking covering everything up, because even though this has been covered and reasonably well, but I'm going to have to go through and cut and polish this again, because this here, I just tried to clean it off before, and you can see where the frickin' overspray from everything else is on it. It needs buffed now, or something. which is a fucking pain in the ass. That's I said to the owner ages ago before we pulled the wheel off that he was going to put it over in his other shed. I wish he did. And I said to him, I said, I can always go over there, crank it up, drive it over, do a wee bit of work on it when we need to get some more done on it, which it does need done, but I just, I can crank it up and bring it over when I'm ready to do something, then it's out of the fucking dust and the dirt and the shit. But now I've got to fucking go through and clean it all and polish it all again. And it really needs to go over his shed. He was meant to build another, I think it's 12 metre by 12 metre, which would be about 20. Oh no, it'd be similar depths to this, not quite as deep as this, but square over there or something like that. He was going to build a one over by his shed, not just on the other side of the trees, just to store some of his cars in. And then probably, this sort of shit could probably go over there in bikes and fucking crap, and then I'd have a bit more room in here. That was his plan too, but I don't know, it'd just be nice to have that other road so it wasn't getting covered in shit. Like I can put the wheel on it, but so I used to drive it in and out, but he pulled that wheel off and I just haven't got around to putting it back on. But anyway, we'll get into this and see if we can get these bits sanded back, cleaned up and whatever, and get it ready for paint. Get these other bits ready for paint, and this doesn't really need paint. I will just flick it in here once we've got everything clean up and got this stuff on here too. So we'll, over today, between the brakes and this, we'll get this going. So yeah, and like I said, if you've got something and you want to bring it in, you're in the local area, get hold of me. Right, so I'm just getting this cleaned back. I just actually the owner of that in here. He just came in to see whether I'd actually done anything. I said, well, no, funnily enough, I just actually got rid of a vehicle out of here. Now I'm just getting back onto that. So, yeah, to get this finished. So, yeah, just been knocking it down. I put a little bit extra glaze in a couple of wee spots and some pieces where I just wasn't happy with. So, I think after lunch, I just want to re-roll or whatever these areas. Maybe, yeah, I don't think I'll worry about these other ones. Just these three, I think. I'll just have to have a good look. I might have to do. Oh, yeah, and I'll have to do that one too. The other ones, yeah, just these four. And then I'll probably respray this just with the gun, but I can sort of do that out here kind of way and just flick it and just roll those pieces. As long as I keep the gun pressure down. So I'm just about ready for this, but I'll mix it at the same time. I'll just put a little bit in the roller. I've got some different rollers at home which I meant to bring. And we'll just spray this so I can get it nice and flat. And I'll just, then I'll put a dash, an extra dash of thinners and I'll roll that out with these little foam rollers just so I don't have to mask that up. For a couple of little bits that I've got to just give it a light sand back with 400 afterwards. I'm just trying to get this down a bit further before obviously I do that. Where we are for lunch now. So yeah, so hopefully, I don't know, tomorrow, maybe, we'll see. Oh yeah, maybe later tomorrow, I might better paint this, we'll just see where we get. And then we can dig into, let's actually start pulling this thing apart. Because really once I've got that painted, I'll leave it for a few days and then we'll start getting the windscreen rubbers and shit back in it and put the, oh fuck, I've still got to glue that here. Yeah, we'll see how everything pans out, but hopefully, yeah, maybe late tomorrow, we'll see how everything works. See if we can maybe get some paint on that and then, still got to glue that bonnet together too, I keep forgetting about that. And, yeah, and then we'll just leave it for a few days and yeah, we'll dig into this and then basically maybe over the weekend or something like that we might see if we can get the glass back in it and whatever. And yeah, I was meant to be going to Cromwell this weekend for the car shop here, but I just don't know if I'm going to be able to wing it. Just with having the few issues with that car, and then I'm still trying to catch myself up from that Corolla being here. Just, yeah, it kind of screwed me up, that fucking car, because I lost a pile of money on that just with freaking stupid shit. Doesn't, you know, it is what it is, it's just one of those things, but like that, having to redo some of this work on this little car just because of that paint, just cost me quite a bit of time. Probably cost me a couple of 3 days, really. You know, it should have been painted before that Falcon got here, but or close to it, if you know what I mean. It should have been basically ready, or could have been ready part way through then, if you know what I mean. I could have been spraying it today, not screwing it around or whatever. But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's just, and I just don't know, because I was going to have a look at that 5152 DeSoto too, which pisses me off. I haven't got the fucking money to look at that either. As much as I'd like to have a look at what he's got and other bits and pieces there, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to wing it. But maybe if I can get another job in here over the next week or two, I might be able to wing it, you know, in another couple of weeks, you know, at least go have a look at that car, which pisses me off. I really want to get it, but it's just now one of those things. Just everything seems to fucking fight you. But anyway, we'll go have some lunch and then we'll come back and we'll see if we can get this thing ready to be painted tomorrow at some point. And we'll get that hood out here and we'll give that a good clean up and too and whatever, and see if I can work out this stuff and this gun. Actually, I've got paperwork at home, I need to bring that back here and read that, which I might read it over lunch if I can find it. And yeah, because there's a few instructions in it. Just what to do. I can imagine it's pretty simple. You probably just have to give everything a good clean and screw it in there. But it's one of those fucking it's got quite a bit of health and safety shit behind it. It must be pretty potent shit. So I'll probably have to wear a respirator and crap with it. I don't really know, if you know what I mean. But I think it's one of those ones that's quite potent. We'll just find out. But, you know, we'll get home and have some lunch, and then we'll shoot back and carry on. Righty. So I'm getting myself ready to do a little bit more primer on that boot lid, trunk lid, and a wee bit more on a couple of spots in the car. So the stuff in the car I'm going to roll. So this is the roll that I used last time. Well, not the one, but the same. You can tell it's very, very fluffy. So got my partner when she was in town the other day to pick up. I said, go look, see if they've got any, see if anybody's got any, like, just a proper foam type roll, the same sort of thing. So I gave her one of the fluffy ones, and I said, see if you can find something that's like that, but it's a proper little foam roll. So we'll try one of these. I think this will be a lot better. Same deal. It's on the same thing. Well, it should do. Yeah. So yeah, we'll try that one. I think that'll give a way nicer finish for what we're doing. Yeah, it doesn't need to be dead perfect, but if it can be fairly smooth and flat, it's going to make life a lot easier. So we'll do that, and when we mix up a cup of paint, we'll make up enough to spray one, maybe two lighter, sort of medium lightish ones on that boot lid. It doesn't need a lot, but there's a couple of spots so I just want a wee bit more primer on it. Yeah, and it's probably the same really for this. Like the bits around the wheel arches in the back piece on the bottom of the rear guard, and the one on the front fender on this side is fine, but the other four need another coat just to even a couple of bits out where I put some glazing putty and everything. I just want another couple of coats over it basically, so I can go to more with a sand with a bit of 400, and then we'll be ready to paint. Probably tomorrow or whatever, if I can get that hood sorted. I've got to do a little bit of welding too, don't I? Yeah, I should be able to get that at least glued up and welded, and maybe a little bit of body work done on that too. Where I've got to weld, see what we can get away with in that. I might even better just mix up a little bit of paint and just a couple of dollops and put a couple of drips in it so it's got a wee bit harder, and just maybe roll over it or something like that. Just in the edge, and then just sand it in. Won't be too bad. We'll see how that goes. Because I need to glue it before I weld it, because it's so flimsy it'll break the welds. Well, it's such a fine little, so fucking floppy. Yeah, it'll re-crack, I would think, if you weren't careful. It needs glued together so it's stable, and then you can weld it. Yeah, so we'll get some paint mixed up. We'll give this a couple of bits of wipe down. So we'll give a couple of wipe down now, and then we'll mix some paint up. And yeah, we'll roll some, see what those rollers do. Just have a second go at that, and then see if that's what I need for a roller, and we'll spray the lid. Right, so that's done. I could have mixed up a little bit more, but I wasn't too worried about it. I got sort of enough, 3/4 of a coat, basically did across the back and then sprayed across, started at the back, and by the time I got to the last pass in a little bit, I was running out at the top. But I've got where I actually needed the primer on, and same on here. I probably could have put it another bit down there, but that's alright. It's got one from rolling it on. You know, we only want to hopefully sand it out with 400 and spray it, hopefully. But yeah, it's definitely way better. It's not as thick. It's probably a little bit funny because I sort of rolled it a little bit extra just to try and even it out. But that's all good. So anyway, trying to think what I'll do now. So I might pull that out and give that a good clean up. And maybe glue this together. Just give it a wee scuff and a clean. And see if we can glue this back together. Alright, we'll see what we look at this gun. I just did a couple of quick wee Google searches on, well, not so much about the product, but just about how this sort of, yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory, but I just wanted to confirm what I thought. This bloody thing. It's not something I've used before, you know what I mean? So, okay. Assuming that would come back, but maybe it doesn't. Just had a bit of an investigation. Might use that or not? I imagine that's going to squeeze past that, isn't it? I'm guessing I meant to use that. I do inquire that product. I don't want to fuck it up, if you know what I mean. I'm guessing I probably need to put that on there so it squeezes. And obviously you've got to cut the end off this. Whether it's one or two, I don't fucking know. I'm guessing just one end. Yeah, I'm guessing I meant to put that on. I'll take that one right off. Can't put that against that. But it just supports it. That is steel and it's plastic. I do get a quick Google on this product and just see if there is a video on using it. Yeah, right, so yeah, you do. I just did a Google and jumped on the 3M YouTube page. I said for any of these sorts of things, yeah, you've got to put it on. So, like, yeah, you know, you don't know unless you unless you look. I guessed it was probably meant to be on there, but you know, sometimes assumption is the mother of all fuck ups, eh? But it's easier to, you know, to check than not. So we've got that on there now. And they said all you have to really do is once you got this in there is you only have to have a small, a slight wee slit, you know, about half an inch long sort of thing from what I could pick up. Make sure it's a little bit tighter. So put that in there. That in there. We've got a couple of different, oh, these are different ends. Oh yeah. Might use that slightly longer one. Yeah, I might use this longer tip. So this is the one that came with the gun, and this is the one that they gave me. Put the gun down. See, I might use this longer one. Just, it mightn't make much difference, but it might be just a little bit easier to get it in those bits. So yeah, that goes in there. Obviously, that goes in there. And then, yeah, just have to basically just give it a bit of a slit, and then you can screw that on. And you're pretty much ready to go once you've obviously chopped the end off that a little bit or whatever you want to do. So that's cool. So we'll give this a final clean down in a white, and then we'll put some shit in those holes. Right, well hopefully that works. I've got bugger all pressure on those clamps. I just back them off a little bit. I don't want it to distort the panel obviously, but just enough to keep a little bit of pressure on those to keep things together. Who knows, if you know what I mean. And then we'll let it go in the morning. I totally meant to put bloody tape down there and all that sort of shit, but I just completely forgot. Yeah, I meant to like lay some masking tape down each edge, and even onto here, like just put the thin strip stuff in there and then a wide piece down there, and then I could just squirt it down there. If it oozed out onto it, didn't matter, you know, you could just wipe it and then lift the tape up when you're finished. But yeah, no, I completely forgot. That's alright, as long as it fucking holds, that's the main thing, and we don't end up with a distorted bonnet or hood. These have hardly got any pressure on them. I just don't want to let it pop up too much, if you know what I mean. I'd rather have it just a little bit of tension so as it glues. I wonder if I should just screw it a bit more in there. I might just screw it a bit more in some of these more open spots, just to make sure it does hold. Might do that. Just to be safe, I guess. We'll do that. We'll put a little bit more on there. Right, we'll leave that. We'll give that a try and hopefully it works and we don't end up with any weird issues. I've got bugger all pressure on that. It's just enough, as I said, to hold it together without it separating. Just trying to think. Oh, I should just get a little bit of plywood, just longish bit of, I've got a couple of scraps of long plywood that I might just put underneath those on the bottom side, so it's a wee bit more spread. Yeah, I might do that too before it, you know, obviously cures. Right, morning. Just got in the door. Let's definitely cure it up. Let's see what's going on. Feels alright, so anything too weird. Wasn't 100% sure whether it had too much pressure. I tried to have hardly anything on it, just enough to actually generate a bit of pressure to pull it together. So when it's glued, it's glued. You know what I mean? Bring her over and we'll have a good look and just get a general look and make sure we haven't got any weird humps or hollows or anything like that. Should be way stronger now when I pick it up. It shouldn't flex. That's way better. Yeah, it's like just flop around before. A wee bit of a, it's got a dent in here, which is sit under a bracer. That's not easy. Probably worked out a little bit. I can knock a little bit of that out. Alright, so we wired it up. I've just mixed up a little bit of glaze and we just sort of smear gooped it in there. Hopefully I can just knock that quick back with a bit of 240 and then we'll just smooth that with a bit of frickin' 400 and 600 down the edges and whatever. And yeah, we'll just go from there with the rest of it. Same one there. So what I might do is get some 400 or even maybe some 320 and we'll just start blocking this out and those other couple bits, sand them out, and we'll get this thing ready for paint this afternoon. Yep, I did it. I'm gonna fix it. So I probably won't get this painted tonight. Well, I hope. I'll try, because I've got to do a couple little touch-ups with the roller. So put some glazing putty in here. I'll try and get it. It's low in here. We won't make it perfect, but we'll get it half decent. So I might just give it a wee bit more of a hammer and dolly, and we'll put a little bit of glaze in it. Well, a decent amount of glaze in it, and we'll just block it through. I might tape up these edges, and we'll block it through, and we'll just see if we can get it decent. Then we'll give this a decent scuff out here with a bit of, I don't know, something, and then we'll blend it out, and then we'll roll some primer up and we'll blend it out, and I think that should be okay. Right, so we put some body filler in there, or some glaze. So I'm going to mix up some primer, and we're going to hit those 3 spots plus this bit down here. I might just go over a couple of slightly bolder spots from sanding. A couple of these other areas I'm not too panicked about, but that's a wee bit big. Like, some things you can get away with, if you know what I mean. Like, you can't always just avoid a bare edge just trying to get something last, but I might just roll that, and just when we give it a wee, I want to just touch it really. What if I should spray? No, I'll do it with the roller. It would be nicer to spray it because I could just lay it on nice and thin. Maybe I turn the pressure down real low and just thin it out. Yeah, I might do that. And just spray it if I just get the pressure down low, and I can lay a bit of cardboard over that. So a wee bit of cardboard with me or something. Yeah, that'll work. Because then I can puff it over that and just blend it in nice. Yeah, that'll do. I was going to roll it, but yeah, I'll give the car another wipe down, and yeah, we'll mix up a little bit of, just a tiny wee bit. I don't want much, just, I don't know, 100 mils or so. Alrighty, I might be painting this in the morning, I think. It just took me for fucking ever to take this thing up. And I've scuffed it back. I've just blown a little bit of primer over a couple bits and pieces, just a few little edges and stuff. And flicked a little bit in there and flicked a little bit on them. Got a couple of coats in the middle of that. So I just want to give it a very light rub back, but it's like 4:30. I might come back later on and spray it, but I just have to watch the temperature. It's quite warm at the moment, but yeah, I just want to give everything just a very light rub back. Maybe even just, I don't know, even possibly just a Scotch-Brite, or yeah, I might even just a wee bit of 800 dry or something like that, just to give everything just a couple of light wee scuffs, just where I've sprayed it back on. I've done 2 or 3 little spots. So yeah, actually, is there not tape down? No, it is, but it's not. I might have to tape that down a bit better. So yeah, I've kind of left the centre of these doors. I'm going to try and not spray into them, but we'll just see. I've Scotch-Brited so far back so I can blend it in and blend that in, and because I'm basically going to paint the back of that, and obviously the front of that, and up top over here. I'll try not to come too much into here. I'll Scotch-Brite a little bit more, but you know, we'll just have to wet sand an edge or whatever if we have to. I'll try not to blow right down through there. Hopefully we can just buff it out. We'll just see how it blends. I don't know. You know, once we freaking get going, we'll better see what the colours are like, and then whatever. Probably what I'll do is I'll probably spray. I might flip that over and just flip the inside of that first, and then I'll better see what the colours like, and maybe just darken up the spots that, you know, are already in primer, the main pieces, just darken them up with a couple of light coats, and yeah, we'll just see where we're at, and then I'll decide whether I need to Scotch-Brite the rest of those bottoms of those doors, and I'll just do, you know, a light one through there just to bring the colour close, if you know what I mean. Right, morning. So we'll get this wee bit of primer just knocked down a little bit. We'll give it a wee scuff up. I'll just brand it with probably a little bit 800 dry. Just give it a wee feather off basically, and then we'll get this thing wiped down and prep wiped and all that sort of shit. We'll mix some paint and get to spraying. Well, that sucks. I thought I pushed the record button. I got one more coat to do. I've got 3 on there, 2 on this, plus the colour ups of the pieces we've repaired. So my little dent that was in the middle of the bonnet, it's not perfect, but the rest of the bonnet's not perfect. It's got a few little other dings and dents, and I just fixed that bad one. It really stood out. There's a couple other funny spots there I could have fixed, but it's like, how far do you go, you know what I mean? We're just trying to clean it up. The car's not perfect. But yeah, it's just, you can still see, I don't know if you can still see some of the, where I sanded through. And I've sort of blended it back through the doors. I thought you fucking get sand, but it doesn't matter. So I blended it back through the doors. So through the back edge and the front edge of that other door, it's still the original paint. So it's just a matter of what it looks like when we get finished. I might just come back a little bit further, and then obviously we'll have to buff it and whatever. And obviously I flicked it back towards the tail light, but I haven't sort of sprayed hard there. I've just, as I've come over the, or a bit towards the flap, for the gas flap, petrol flap, fuel flap, whatever you want to fucking call it, that's where I've sort of flicked it out, and just flicked it out, and kind of flicked it out around the bottom, but I've been spraying around there too, obviously, because we've done a repair there. So yeah, it's sort of blended out to probably, you know, sort of in that sort of region. I might just come a touch further. We'll just see. Might come a touch further. And it's the same sort of here. I've sort of flicked it, and then it's like as I come to here, I've sort of flicked it out the best I can. Sort of, I probably could have moved this tape up a bit further, but I was trying to stop the air all getting covered in paint and shit and whatever else, if you know what I mean. Just trying to do the best you can. Hopefully when I was spraying the colour on the air, it actually didn't look like it was a bad match, but until we pull the tape off, it's hard to tell. It kind of looks right, but you know, it's always going to be a bit shinier than everything else. But if we give everything else a clean and a buff, hopefully it won't be too bad. And I've only just flicked this top edge here. I probably could have sprayed it a wee bit further back, but I haven't. Now, worst comes to worst, I can always give it a wee scuff, and I can blow a little bit more on it, if you know what I mean, if I have to, over the next week or so. Right, so I think we're done. So yeah, I'll bugger off for a few hours now and just leave this alone. So I'm not tempted to touch it or whatever, you know what I mean? It should be fine in a couple of hours. So yeah, that bit of a dent that was in the centre, that's gone. It's not perfect. I didn't make the bonnet perfect. There's no point. The rest of the car's not perfect. You know, the boot looks pretty good now. All the dents are gone out of it anyway, you know what I mean? Like the worst. It's probably not being perfect either, but again, it's tidy. It's clean and tidy, if you know what I mean. And that's kind of all that matters with this car. You know, it's got to be reasonable. So yeah, as long as the paint match and everything when we give this a polish, because this has got to sit here for a few more days yet, or you know, a couple of weeks or whatever. We haven't even found out about the upholstery yet, which I might do after I'm finished here. This morning, I might go find out about the upholstery, see if they've had any luck. But yeah, so I blended it back into here, and then again away from here. So when we give it a buff, you know, even if it's in a couple of weeks' time, we'll pretty much just sit here. We'll demask it, and obviously we'll make a decision and see whether we're happy with the colour. I don't think it's actually too bad. I haven't got a light to really shine it on, unfortunately, but it doesn't look horrible at this point. Like, I don't see a real colour difference in this section. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. That's why I'd like to get this frickin' sorted and get some fucking lights and shit in there. You know, you can only do so much with the lighting I've got, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it looks tidy, clean, whatever. Pretty happy with all this shit. Looks good. you wouldn't know I'd been there now. But, you know, in a few days' time, we'll flick a bit of that black shit in there. And up behind the headlight. I haven't done that yet. I'm not too stressed about it, but, you know, we can just mask off down the edge in a few days' time and just blow that black gear in there and up behind the headlights. So I was going to do it the other day, but I was trying to get that Falcon out of here. So yeah, we've just got to do a couple bits and pieces like that. But, you know, and I'll flick a bit of rattle can black up and around the inside of the wheel arches, just a little bit, just to tidy it up. And I'll see, we'll blow a little bit of rattle can black back in here, like it was. We'll just rope a bit of tape around there. Just blow a bit of black and back in there. Just puff a wee bit of black out of a can for all that matters. So yeah, hopefully our match is good enough. Yeah, we'll do the big de-masking will be the end of this video anyway, I think, and yeah, we'll just go from there. Right, now it's just after 1 o'clock, so I think I'll finish painting this about just before 11. So we should be safe to peel that off now. So we'll peel all the tape and masking off and we'll have a bit of a general look. And then I'll figure out what I'm going to do next. Like, I think I'll probably have a wee sort out and we'll might start on this basically. And we'll make this the end of this video. Pretty sure this will be, yeah, I wouldn't want to handle it hard, but it's pretty dry now. We'll peel all this shit off and just make sure we don't get overspray on anything, and yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. It's not a bad match. Like, you can see the edges will obviously where I've blown it up to or whatever. But we'll polish all this out. But I'll leave it now for a good week, if not longer. And then we'll get it outside, we'll clean it. Give it a bloody good clean to the rest of it, you know, where we obviously hadn't sprayed. And then we'll get it back inside and we'll give it a buff. And clean these bits up. I tried not to make it too obvious, if you know what I mean. Like, I didn't paint around the other bits and pieces, and I just sort of flipped it up into that corner. So like when we give it a clean and we'll give everything a bit of a buff up, you know, I might even go underneath there with my little buffer and just give that front piece a buff up and whatever like that, and, you know. But everything else we can just buff it. Well, you can see where the line is, but you can't. Like, it's not in here. Like, it doesn't stand out a million miles away. Like, it's not a big fucking jump. Like, it's just a bit of dirt on some of the other pieces where I just didn't clean it really well because I knew I wasn't going to be painting there, if you know what I mean. But even here, by the time I'll give that a buff through here and just even give it a wee wet sand beforehand, you know, and give that a wee buff with even a little buffer and just blend that out. It'll be right. You know, even up in here, you know, it's not a fucking bad match. Like, you can see where I finished spraying, where it's thin, but fuck, it's not too bad. Like, even here, like at the back door, like, that's not painted. That's painted. and then that's where it stops. But fuck, that's not a bad match. I'm actually pretty impressed. Like, it's pretty good. It'd be interesting to see. See, the other thing too is I wonder when I put the boot lid back on, how much of a difference is it going to be? You know, at the end of the day, maybe I might have to do an extra little bit of blending just to, so it's not quite so obvious, but it's not bad. Like, I can, you know, once we give it a buff up and clean up, look, it's sprayed through to here, and this is where it stops, and that's where I've had the tape on. But like I said, it's still got a bit of a wrinkle in there. I didn't worry about fixing it. I just pushed the worst of it out. I wasn't trying to fix everything, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, you just fucking spend days and days and days fixing shit, and the budget goes way out the window. I will realign that door because it's garbage. It needs to be closing here, but it's way in here. But we haven't got the door rubbers or anything on. But I'll move this out a little bit so that's better. No, I didn't fix any of this shit. I don't see the point, if you know what I mean. But to me, once we give that a buff, once it's dried, it'll be fine. The colour match is pretty fucking good. I wasn't quite sure. I took this off because I wasn't sure where I was going to blend, whether I was going to blend a bit further back up here or up here. And I decided to stop in the middle here because that just gives me a bit more opportunity to blend it backwards and forwards. But the bottom pieces are basically fully painted within reason, if you know what I mean. It's flicked out through there, and then it's flicked out back through the door. So I'd say from here, well, you can see from here through to about here is not painted per se. It sort of fades into there and into a bit of a diagonal. So I think it'll buff out pretty good. I don't think many people. Well, no, like once we get it out in the sunlight, you'll better really tell. So we got it washed and give it a decent clean up. But yeah, I'm pretty fucking happy with that. Yeah, by the time we've given it a decent clean and a buff and whatever else, and yeah, should be good. Very nice. All right. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that result. Anyway, you know, sometime in the next video, next couple of videos, depending on what we get done with the little Mori, you know, we'll leave that for a good week. Probably late next week we'll get that outside, give it a pressure wash off, give it a decent clean. I might even have the glass in it, back in it by then, and then we'll start cleaning up and buffing it. Maybe just give the edges where we've blended it. We'll might rub over that with a 2000 or something like that, just to get a slightly cleaner transition before we buff. But yeah, I think it should be good. Maybe even just go over it with a bit of 3000. But I'm pretty happy with that. At least the front guards and the bonnet are all one colour. You know, it blends across here because we've painted up here, but not up here. So hopefully it's not quite so obvious. But I think the match is pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think by the time we clean it up, we'll put that little paper off here. But yeah, I think by the time we clean it up and everything, it'll be fine. I'll do that in a minute. I've got my hands free properly. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.